Hello everyone, hello grade 12 students. It's me again, Ma'am Terebena, your guidance counselor, and we shall now start with our discussion of your homeroom guidance quarter 1 module 2, which is entitled Accepting the Individuality of Others. So I hope you are now ready. So again, for this module, you shall be needing a pen, a paper, and a copy of this module. So you can see their statements on the back page of the title page. After the title page, you can see there some intellectual property code of the Philippines statement, and also the development team, or the one who wrote or who made this module. And of course, after which you can see there a statement for your parents, or this is entitled Gabay sa Magulang or Tagapag-alaga. Just make sure that you will let your parents read this part. So let's try to have this. Isinulat ang module na ito bilang gabay ng inyong anak upang malinang ang kanyang aspektong personal at sosyal. Nakadisenyo ito sa distance learning o alternatibong pamamaraan ng pagkatuto na hindi nangangailangan ng pisikal na presensya sa paaralan bilang tugon sa direktiba ng pagkansela ng face-to-face class dulot ng pandemyang COVID-19. Maaring may mga pagkakataon na hingi na mag-aaral ang inyong patnubay sa pagsunod sa mga tagubilin at pagsagot sa mga tanong sa bawat bahagi ng mga gawain. Hinihiling ng kagawaran ng inyong suporta upang matagumpay niyang maisakatuparan ng mga gawain at makatutulong ang araling ito upang hubugin ang kanyang kabutihan na tanggapin ang pagkakaiba-iba ng bawat tao sa katangian, kakayahan, damdamin at pananaw. Tiyakin na sasagutin niya ang bawat bahagi ng module ng tapat. Siguraduhing maipapasa niya ang kanyang sagutang papel sa petsa at oras na itinakda ng kanyang gurong tagapayo. So, again, we will be needing the support of your parents, so please let your parents read this part. Okay, so we shall now continue. So on page 4 of your module, you can see there the introductory message for you, for the learner. Okay, so let's have this. In your everyday interaction, you may have observed similarities and differences with the people around you. You may have seen differences in physical appearance, preferences, abilities, skills, and behavior. So each person's intelligence, personality traits, and values differ from one another. So these aspects define each person's individuality. As grade 12 learner, personal and social skills will help you in developing healthy behavior and positive relationships. This module will help you gain better understanding about your role in promoting respect for individual differences and valuing others. This learning module has 6 interactive tasks, which are as follows. So the same thing with module 1, we have these parts. Let's try this, which will help you to get ready to learn. Let's explore this, which will guide you towards what you need to learn. Keep in mind, which will give you the lessons that you need to learn and understand. You can do it, which will help you apply the lessons learned in daily activities. What I have learned, which will test and evaluate your learning. And share your thoughts and feelings, which will help you express your thoughts, opinions, and feelings. Just make sure to read, think, follow, and enjoy every task that you are asked to do. Have fun, stay safe, and healthy. Okay. On page 5, you can see there, again, the title of Module 2 is Accepting the Individuality of Others. Ayan. So, what are the learning objectives? So, at the end of this module, you're expected to, number 1, determine the basic aspects of an individual. Number 2, demonstrate suggested ways in accepting others. Number 3, formulate home, school policies that promote respect for individual differences. And number 4, appreciate actions or behaviors that accept individual differences. So this is good for week 2 and 3. Suggested total time allotment is 120 minutes or 2 hours. And you will be needing the following materials: clean sheet of paper, you will be needing bond paper too, ball pen, and coloring materials. Okay, so let's have first the introduction for this module 2. Okay, it is stated here that in this module, you will have a better understanding about your role in promoting respect for individual differences. So the key word here is individual differences. We shall be learning about individual differences, and we shall be understanding better our role on how to promote respect for individual differences. So this aims to give you an opportunity to view others' perspectives and feelings. Accepting attitude and openness to others' unique characteristics will help you to have healthy relationships. So go on board and celebrate everyone's individuality. So for our first activities under Let's Try This, suggested time allotment is 20 minutes. The title is Observation of Others' Uniqueness. So we have there 4 instructions. So for number 1, what you're going to do is you're just going to copy the following table on a clean sheet of paper. So this is the table. Okay. So, ayan. So you can see in the table, persons, description, so lively or reserved, nurturing or disciplinarian, conservative or liberated, thinker or doer, planner or easy-go-lucky, and we have there 3 names. Okay, so what are we going to do? Number 2, you're going to think of 3 different persons who are similar in a certain aspect that you would like to observe for this activity. Ayan, so pipili kayo ng 3 tao na sa tingin ninyo ay pareho sa isang aspeto or in a certain aspect na gusto mong i-observe para sa activity ito. So, it can be, sabi dito, an example would be 3 famous personalities. Like, for example, a singer, a dancer, an inventor, politicians, or artist. Or anybody that you would like to observe. Then, you're just going to write their names and describe them using the options in each column. Use your best judgment on them and write your answers to the processing questions after. So again, you're just going to write the name of the person, and again, you're just going to write the name of the person, and then you're just going to put there on the column if she or he is lively ba or reserved. For the next naman, nurturing ba siya or disciplinarian. Okay. So you're just going to identify or assess or evaluate that particular person, and let's try to compare your answers, from among these 3 personalities or 3 persons you observed. Okay, is there any difference or similarities? So to be able to understand that better, we have to answer these processing questions. So what are the processing questions? We have here number 1. Were you able to fill out all related descriptions for each person? Syempre, yes naman yata, no? Which of the descriptions is the most observable? Okay, ilalagay natin dyan. So, kung sakali man na fill outan mo yung mga related description for each person, alin daw doon yung most observable or yun talagang obvious, na yun talaga yung kanyang description. Okay, and number 2, what is the most difficult description to observe? Okay, alin ba yung pinaka-difficult description to observe? Is it the lively or reserved, nurturing ba or disciplinarian? Aling category dyan ang mahirap? And try to explain why. And number 3, what can you say about the differences that you observe among these 3 persons? Okay. Ano kaya sa tingin niyo, ano kaya yung masasabi mo tungkol sa pagkakaiba-iba nila sa mga na-observe mong description ng 3 taong naging subject mo or in-observe mo. Okay, so the next activity is under Let's Explore This. Suggested time allotment is 20 minutes. So the title is Showing Support for Others. So again, we have here another table. What you're going to do is you're just going to copy the table on a sheet of paper. And how will you support others in the given situations? So ang gagawin natin ay isusulat daw natin kung paano natin susuportahan ng iba sa mga ibinigay na sitwasyon. Write your answer in each column. Okay, so this is the table. You can see there 10 situations and meron tayo ditong 4 na category: physically, emotionally, socially, and spiritually. How are you going to support others physically, emotionally, socially, and spiritually? So, example. So, let's have the different situations. So, how are you going to support? Number 1, a new classmate with a physical disability. And how are you going to support a friend who lost his parents due to accident? Number 3, a neighbor who chose to stop schooling for employment. Number 4, a sibling who spends most of his time or her time playing online games. Number 5, a friend who plans to leave their house because of a family problem. Number 6, a new group member who loses hope because of many problems. Number 7, a cousin from an ethnic group who is still adjusting to her new school. And number 8, a relative who is confused with his gender preference. Number 9, a classmate who experiences social discrimination due to his poor academic performance. And number 10, an older sibling who needs help on time management. Okay. So, this is quite challenging, kasi we have to identify whether our support is included in physical, is it ba emotional, social, and spiritual. Now, I believe kasi we can support other people in this particular situation. It is 4 aspects, So what do you think is the ideal thing to do when you met a particular person with this kind of situation? And then for the processing question, we shall answer the following. Number 1, what do you notice with your answers? Ano bang napansin ninyo? We're able to identify clearly the kind of help that you can or the kind of support you can give to this person. Number 2, which of the situations is the most difficult to handle or manage? Alin ba dito ang pinakamahirap? And then, explain. And number 3, what type of support or help is the easiest to provide and explain? Ano bang klaseng support or tulong ang pinakamadali na ibigay? Explain also. And number 4, what have you realized after doing this activity? Ano bang mga realizations mo? Okay. So, I think in this activity, you will be able to realize that in any aspects, we can support each other, we can help. Hindi man physically, but kung hindi man physically, merong emotional support na pwede tayo mai-provide. Kung hindi man emotional, we can provide support socially. Or kung hindi man, the least thing we can do is to provide spiritual support to these persons, who are having difficulty or are having difficulty in their lives. Okay. We shall proceed to the next part, which is entitled Keep in Mind. Suggested time allotment is 20 minutes. Okay. So, let's have this part. Okay. So, sabi dito, in dealing with others, we must recognize that we are all different from one another. So, kailangan daw na i-recognize natin sa pakikitungo sa iba, kailangan na ma-recognize natin that we are all different from one another. Okay, do you believe that we are all different from one another? Yes. So, we have to recognize that we are all different from one another. So, though we may have similarities in terms of preferences, taste, physical appearance, style, and many more, we still have distinctions and uniqueness which make us special in different ways. So, it only means to say that no two persons are exactly alike. So, we all are different from one another, right? So, our individuality comes with our unique attributes and characteristics. Some can easily be seen physically, while some can be manifested through actions and behavior, which may indicate values and personalities. Okay, so we have these unique attributes and characteristics. So there is harmony in diversity, and we can all keep it that way if we learn to accept one another as we are. So, alam nyo kasi, sometimes the reason why we have this so-called misunderstanding with others is that because we don't recognize the differences that we have, or the kind of personalities we have. So we have to accept the fact that we are all different from one another. And for us to be able to have this so-called harmonious relationship with one another, with other people, we have to learn to accept one another as we are. But this is quite challenging, on our part. So this really requires a certain level of maturity for us to be able to recognize that each one of us is different from one another, because the tendency would be ang dali nating i-judge ang isang tao because that is not the kind of person that we prefer, or that is not really the same as you. So therefore nagkakaroon tayo agad ng a certain judgment for that person. So therefore, sabi dito, there are healthy ways to deal with our individual differences which would work for everyone's advantage. So here are some. So letter A is to accept that we are all different. Ayan. So nandun muna tayo sa level of acceptance. So, don't assume that your preference will always be the same as those of your peers or friends. Okay, of course, there are similarities among you, but all have different stories to tell that affect the way you see things. You may have different beliefs, culture, values, and even interests, and you cannot force anybody to be exactly the same as you. Remember, even twins have differences. Ayan. So, napaka-simple pero medyo mahirap itong gawin na i-accept, diba? I-accept na talagang tayo ay magkakaiba. So, let us not assume that your preference will also be the preference of your friends, or of your sisters, of your brothers, or any of their significant others, So, and letter B, use your similarities with other people to strike a harmonious relationship with them. So, while you acknowledge that people are different from one another, there are also commonalities which you may take advantage to establish positive relationship with them. At this point of time, you might have found the right people who can be your good friends, who can inspire you to strive harder, who can be your role model. Okay. So, definitely, in all of our differences, still may makukuha ka pa rin dyan, may makikita ka pa rin dyan na similarities or commonalities in a particular, something in common with a person. So, you try to use that, try to use that in order for you to build a harmonious relationship with others. Okay? So, although, okay, so number one, in-accept na natin that we are all different. Now, use these commonalities, take advantage. You may take advantage with these commonalities para makapag-develop tayo ng positive relationship with these persons. Okay? And letter C, be open-minded with others. Okay? You can always learn from the experiences of your friends and peers, and they can also do the same with you. So the manner they overcome life challenges and how they impact their living could be your insights to improve your lifestyle or even the way you see things around you. So you can also learn from their culture, traditions, and values. So learn from others, So remember, these differences can be also a way. So it can be the reason why we learn. So because the experiences of your friends and peers, as I've said, is different from the kind of experiences that you have. So their stories might be some sort of inspiration or a lesson to you. So try to use that and learn from them. Okay, learn from your friends. Letter D, try to consider where others are coming from. Okay, saan ba sila nanggagaling? Ano ba yung pinanggagalingan? Lahat ng mga kinikilos sila, lahat ng ginagawa nila. So your family setup may be different from what your friends have. So people might have grown up in a province or in a highly urbanized city. So there are those who have complete set of parents and those that have single parent or no parents at all. Additionally, people have different childhood experiences which greatly affect their attitude and personality now. So there are also those who struggle financially and those who are well off. So keep in mind that people are coming from different backgrounds and they act, decide, and make choices based on those things. So we have to understand all the people around us have also their different backgrounds. So the way they act, the way they behave is just a product of their childhood, of the kind of the environment they have, of all the influences they have when they are growing up. So instead of thinking negatively on that particular person, just try to be open-minded and try to consider that they also have their own background. Okay? Letter E. If your differences with others are getting in the way, try to have a common ground. Okay? So you cannot impose your beliefs, values, and cultures to others the same way that they cannot do that to you. So, ito ay may apply natin kung yung mga differences daw ay sa tingin nyo ay ito na yung time na hindi na kayo magkasundo. So, try to have a common ground. Okay? So, as I've said, you cannot impose your beliefs, values, and cultures to others the same way that they cannot do that to you. Okay? So, because you also have your own. However, instead of trying to prove who's better and who's not, you may want to find an area where you can both improve yourself while learning from each other. So there are differences that are worthy to talk and celebrate, and there are those that we just accept unconditionally, just like in the second item. And there is no point in comparing people, as each one of us have also our own potentials and abilities. Always remember that you coexist with others. There are things that you cannot control, like the people around you, but you can always manage the way you deal with them. Okay? Again, uulitin natin, wala kang ibang pwedeng kontrolin kundi ang sarili mo. So definitely, you cannot impose your beliefs, your values, your interest to that particular to other people because they also have their own. So instead of looking at those differences, try to figure out also, or try to remember that you also have you coexist with one another. You just have to respect them, diba? So the choice is always with you. Either you make the most of those individual differences and have a happy life, or make that as your limitations. This is a very nice point. Okay, you can be able to master all of these pointers, okay, from letter A to E. Now you can live in harmony, in diversity with others. So just accept one another as who they are. And for week 3, okay, so under you can do it, suggested time allotment is 30 minutes. So the title is I Care Policies. So again, we have here a table. What you're going to do is you're just going to copy the table below on a separate sheet of paper, and you're going to write at least 5 policies at home, in school, in the community, or online that you personally do to respect individual differences. Answer the processing questions later. So ano ba yung mga policies na meron kayo sa bahay ninyo, sa school ninyo, sa community, or even online na personally ginagawa mo para maipakita ang iyong respeto sa pagkakaiba-iba natin, okay, sa individual differences. The processing questions are: number 1, how do you compare your answers in each column? Number 2, given the current situation, how do you intend to practice them? And number 3, what made you practice such ways to respect individual differences in care for others? And under what I have learned, suggested time allotment is 15 minutes. So here, you're just going to write a 3 to 5 paragraph essay that answers the question below on a sheet of paper. Ayan. So, you just have to answer this question. How should we celebrate our individual differences? Okay, so a 3 to 5 paragraph essay entitled How Should We Celebrate Our Individual Differences? And under your share your thoughts and feelings for 15 minutes, you are going to create a slogan or poster on unconditional acceptance of others and respect for individual differences. You may post it online or physically in the most noticeable area at home. So, use a short bond paper and coloring material. So, ayan, gagawa ka ng isang slogan, or kaya naman, kung hindi slogan, a poster, a drawing on unconditional acceptance of others. How are you going to unconditionally accept others and respect others for individual differences? Okay? So, pwede mo daw siyang i-post online. You can post it in your Facebook profile, on your Facebook account. And, pwede mo din siyang ilagay sa mga sa bahay ninyo, i-post sa bahay ninyo. And, you use a bond paper or coloring material for this activity. So, okay. So, we are now done with the module 2. Okay, congratulations grade 12 students for finishing this module. So, napakaganda ng module na to, because in this module we learn how to respect others by accepting their individuality. In this particular age that we are already mature enough, we are adults already, diba? We are all young adults already. So it is important that we know how to respect each other, that instead of looking at the differences, instead of challenging each other and fighting each other because of your own belief, instead try to understand that they also have their own background. As we said a while ago, di ba? Meron tayong mga kanya-kanyang pinanggalingan. We have our own origins. That's why kanya-kanya din tayo mga decisions, dispositions. May kanya-kanya din tayo mga values and beliefs. So, again, let us just respect one another, okay, and accept one another, because it's one way of living in harmony with others. So when you can be able to accept and respect one another, then there will be no misunderstanding, diba? Although sometimes kailangan din natin ng mga ganito misunderstanding in order for us to learn. But as much as possible, di ba, we try to live in harmony with others instead of creating chaos, instead of creating negativities, especially in this time of pandemic. So let's try to reach out to them by accepting that particular person for who he or she is. So that will be all for now. Thank you so much, my dear grade 12 students, for watching this video. So I hope you learned something from this, and we'll be trying to upload soon our module 3 for you grade 12 students. So I just want to apologize for the delay, so hindi tayo agad nakapag-upload ng module 3 due to Typhoon Kinta and Wally. We had these 2 consecutive typhoons, so as of the moment we don't have yet our electricity here. We are just using a generator, kaya hindi tayo agad makapag-upload. So but still, we would like to update, the sooner we would like to update soon, our modules, para naman nakapag-catch up tayo sa ating mga lessons, ating mga modules, and we can be able to finish our modules on time. So but anyway, so I'll be attaching the copy of this module so that you can also print this at if you have time. You can also, if you have printers, pwede nyo ma-print ang copy ng module na to, and para mas madali para sa inyo na maintindihan din yung module if you have a hard copy of this module. So again, thank you so much, and this is again Ma'am Terebena, your guidance counselor, saying bye for now and see you on module 3.